¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Tuesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. Sorry about that. Had a million and one things going on. First of all, I spent almost all day attempting to get something done for my licensing for my job. They sent me to one place that was roughly about maybe an hour away, an hour and something away. And it turns out that that is actually not the right place. The right place ended up being another hour and something of driving, and then traffic, and then another hour and something, maybe more, back. But I think I got everything ready. Okay. Hey, Comic Seeking, how's it going? I know I also had on top of everything, there seemed to have been a small hiccup here. Did I get the W? At the end of the day, yes. I finally got to do what I needed to do. So, yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I guess the silver lining was that it wasn't once I actually got to the place, because you're supposed to do like fingerprinting. Once I actually got to the place, I thought I was gonna be there for quite a while. Like I was on the cusp of not being able to stream. Because they sent me to the wrong place. But, you know, it's okay. We made it. Excellent indeed. All right, we've got a few things to go through, so... And today's going to be kind of a short day, so... Let me make sure I got everything going. I'm so into the implications of the Trump rabbit hole cult. Oh yeah, there's a few developments regarding that, so I guess we'll get to that. All right. We'll start with this one. Travis McMichael and Gregory McMichael sentenced to a second life term for the Ahmaud Arbery murder. These were the racist pieces of shit that decided to take the law into their own hands and ended up killing Ahmaud Arbery. William Roddy Bryan Jr. was sentenced to 35 years, and the three Georgia men were convicted earlier of committing a federal hate crime. A federal judge sentenced Travis McMichael and his father Gregory McMichael to life in prison for committing a hate crime and other federal violations during their murder of Ahmaud Arbery in 2020. William Roddy Bryan Jr., a neighbor who was also convicted in the murder, was sentenced to a 35-year term. The McMichaels and Bryan were convicted in February of interfering with Arbery's civil rights by attempted kidnapping. The McMichaels were convicted of a firearms charge. Travis McMichael, who shot Arbery to death with a shotgun, was convicted of shooting a firearm during a crime of violence. The guilty verdict meant jurors found the men acted because of Arbery's race and color. I agree. The three white men were convicted in a state court in November of the murder of Mr. Arbery, a 25-year-old black man, and sentenced to life in prison. The McMichaels were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, and Mr. Bryan, however, is eligible for parole. I'm very proud to say we finally got justice for Ahmaud at the federal level, said Wanda Cooper Jones, Mr. Arbery's mother, at a news conference on Monday. I'm pleased that they will do their time in the state penitentiary. Oh yeah, doubly so. Doubly and rightfully so. The federal prosecutor said it was important to secure federal sentences in case the state convictions are successfully appealed. Yeah, in other words, you're not getting out of this. The Justice Department's prosecution of this case and the court's sentences today make clear that hate crimes have no place in our country, and that the department will be unrelenting in our efforts to hold accountable those who perpetrate them, Attorney General Merrick Garland said. The U.S. District Judge Lisa Wood on Monday sentenced the younger Mr. McMichael with an additional 10-year term for the weapon use charge. He will also serve a 20-year term for attempted kidnapping of Mr. Arbery, which will be served concurrently with the life sentence he received for the federal and state convictions. The elder McMichael, who also received a 20-year sentence for attempted kidnapping, to be served concurrently. In addition, he will serve 7 years for the weapons charge. The loss that you have endured is beyond description. There are no words for it. I'm sure my words mean very little to you, the elder Mr. McMichael said during the sentencing, but I want to assure you that I never wanted any of this to happen. There was no malice in my heart or my son's heart that day. Text messages say otherwise. Sorry. I don't believe that. Text messages say otherwise during this whole incident. So, during this case. I don't believe it. Sorry. The younger Mr. McMichael didn't make a statement during the sentencing hearing. Judge Wood said she gave Mr. Bryan a lesser sentence because he didn't use a gun in the encounter and because he turned over to law enforcement officials a video he took that showed the fatal shooting. I'm glad I have a chance to say to Mr. Arbery's family and friends how sorry I am for what happened to him that day. I never intended any harm, and I would never have played a role that day if I knew then what I know now. What? The McMichaels and Mr. Bryan asked Judge Wood to allow them to serve their sentences in federal prison rather than state prison. Judge Wood denied the request. Mr. Arbery was unarmed when he confronted the McMichaels and Mr. Bryan in Satilla Shores, a residential area outside Brunswick. Mr. Arbery was jogging when he encountered the men. The 3 men pursued Arbery in 2 pickup trucks, and Travis McMichael fatally shot him. The defendants said that in their state trial that they approached Mr. Arbery because they thought he was a thief. Ahmad wasn't just shot 1 time; he was shot 3 times. And I tell you, I feel every shot every day. Marcus Arbery, the father of Mr. Arbery, said his family had been through a long journey since the murder of his son, and the people responsible for his death didn't deserve any mercy. They asked for mercy, and they didn't give him no mercy that day. That February 23rd day, the sunny hot day, didn't give him no mercy. They didn't even give him a chance to finish his run. And you're asking for mercy? Oh well. I'm glad that they got 2 consecutive life sentences. That way, if they attempt to appeal the state conviction, Alright, so on to the memes. Republicans rush to Trump's defense after FBI executes search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. Top congressional Republicans are rushing to former President Trump's defense after FBI executed a search warrant at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida as part of an investigation into the handling of potentially classified material. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy told Attorney General Garland to preserve your documents and clean your calendar, warning of an oversight probe when Republicans take back the chamber in midterms. Well, you have to win the elections first. But if you're serving a subpoena that was obtained by a judge, I mean, just because your guy is possibly potentially under investigation for crimes, does not mean that you now are, threatening the Department of Justice with a bunch of oversight hearings if they should win the House, which should only invigorate the idea that Republicans just have no business winning these elections at all. At all. Because I can see it now. Back-to-back oversight hearings. House Republicans briefly discussed the FBI search during a conference call on Tuesday. Multiple sources tell CNN top Republicans made clear that they want to get answers and a full accounting from the Justice Department. Answers would be that your dear leader and God is potentially committing crimes. Yeah, it's that simple. The call had been previously scheduled in order to discuss the Inflation Reduction Act that's coming to the House floor on Friday. Yeah. But at the top of the call, McCarthy kicked things off when he turned things over to Jim Jordan, the top Republican on the House Judiciary Committee, and Representative Mike Turner, the top Republican on the House Intelligence Committee. They repeated further demands of accountability, but did not signal what specific oversight plans will be if they win the majority. Yeah, I know that the House is kind of 50-50 at this point, but this should invigorate people to make sure that they don't win the House at all. Trump is also set to meet Tuesday with about a dozen members of the House Republican Study Committee, led by Indiana Representative Jim Banks, at his residence in Bedminster, New Jersey, according to a person familiar with their plans, providing a timely opportunity for the former president to rally members to his side after the FBI search. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, it's clear that the Republican Party is Trump and Trump is the Republican Party. Like, that's it. I think it's pretty clear at this point. A July CNN poll found that the majority of Republican and Republican-leaning registered voters do not want Trump to be their party nominee in the 2024 election. But the former president is still powerful within the party. He is the party. I don't get what's so hard to understand about this. Republican candidates across the country have sought his endorsement in their 2022 primaries, and on Saturday, Trump overwhelmingly won an unofficial straw poll at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Texas. Yeah, I don't know what poll CNN was was doing here. Um, I don't know what poll CNN was doing here, but no, Trump's their guy. Sorry. Rallying around Trump, many Republicans, including the RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniel, attacked Democrats instead of the news. Attacked Democrats instead after the news of the FBI search. Some saying that Biden himself must be investigated. There must be an immediate investigation and accountability into Joe Biden and his administration weaponizing this department against their political opponents. It's not weaponizing if said people are potentially committing crimes. Like, if Donald Trump is committing crimes, do we just continue to let him? No. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. If there are potential crimes, they must be investigated, and there's a reason why there was an approved subpoena. There's a reason why there was a subpoena approved by a judge. The likely 2024 Republican candidate for President of the United States, said Representative Elise Stefanik, a member of the House GOP leadership. Turner, a top Republican on the House Intelligence Committee, requested an immediate briefing from FBI Director Christopher Wray, saying that the agency's action was unprecedented and he was unaware of any actual alleged national security threat posed by materials in Trump's possession. Yeah, I don't know if you have things that are classified that you're not supposed to have. I don't know what to say. Hey, Heat, how's it going? But that is how it works. Well, you're right. For the most part, that's usually how the story ends. But we'll see. We'll see. Howdy, howdy. I just want them to see Bar Trump from being president again. That would be enough punishment for the narcissist. Nah, not enough punishment, to me, in my opinion. Keep in mind, Christopher Wray was like a dude nominated during the Trump era. Okay? The guy who did all this is like a dude from the Trump era. Like, he's the director of the FBI under Donald Trump. So... How do you square that circle? There's like a massive Dem conspiracy to punish political opponents, but the people doing it is the same people that your people put in. It doesn't make any sense. I'm in a good mood right now, so it can't bring me down. That's good to hear. Trump put this guy in office. Yeah, exactly. So like, you can't cry that there's some kind of like political persecution. The perpetual victim mentality is just wild to me. Anyways, you can't simultaneously say that there's some type of political witch hunt, but the people doing the alleged witch hunt were the people you put in place. So did you initiate this? Like, how does that work? Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, a potential 2024 contender, not really, criticized Biden, said Biden has nothing to do with this, saying that he has taken a Republican to dangerous waters and called for Garland to either resign or be impeached. Remember, folks, every accusation is a confession, right? Every accusation is a confession. That's true. Their constituents don't understand or care and say whatever you want. Yep. Trump does it all the time by calling party members rhinos. Yeah, he calls anybody that's not with them rhinos. At a minimum, Garland must be resigned or impeached, a search warrant must be published, and Christopher Wray must be removed. The guy your guy put in? Okay. Okay. And the FBI reform top to bottom, true, but not in the way you want it. Former Vice President Mike Pence called on Garland to provide a full accounting to the FBI search. Here's the full account. Your boy is possibly doing crimes, and there's an investigation going on, and a subpoena was served. That's what happened. Quote, I share the deep concern of millions of Americans over the unprecedented search of the personal residence of President Trump. The unprecedented search. Okay. Sure, my dude. Yesterday's actions undermine public confidence in our system of justice. And Attorney General Garland must give a full accounting to the American people as to why this action was taken, and he must do so immediately. Nope, every accusation is indeed a confession. You know what would undermine public confidence in our system of justice? Letting crimes slide by. letting the former president get away with tampering with confidential information. That would kind of undermine confidence in the justice system. Alio with the 10 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think they should raid Trump's New York properties as well. If there's evidence there, they should. They should get subpoenas if that's the case. Garland, yeah. He's just bitter, folks. That's right. That's what it is. While many prominent Republicans were quick to criticize the Biden administration and defend Trump, others took a more muted approach as questions remained about the cause of the FBI search. Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, a member of the Senate Republican leadership, tweeted, raiding a former president's home is unprecedented. The Justice Department needs to quickly and transparently tell the American people who approved this raid and why it occurred. At a press conference in Kentucky focused on flood damage, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell declined to comment on the FBI executing a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. I'm here to talk about the flood and the recovery from the flood. But Trump says he's perfect. That's funny. Democrats responded that no one is above the law. True. House Speaker Pelosi said on NBC today that she learned of the FBI's she first learned of the FBI search when it was flashed on her phone. When it flashed on her phone, it repeatedly said she only knows what is public. We believe in the rule of law. Representative Carolyn Maloney, the chair of the House Oversight investigating Trump's handling of the documents, called on the Justice Department to fully investigate the former president's handling of information. Presidents have a solemn duty to protect America's national security, and allegations that former President Trump put our security at risk by mishandling classified information warrant the utmost scrutiny. Although the details of today's actions at Mar-a-Lago are still emerging, it is clear that the Department of Justice must fully investigate Trump's potentially grave mishandling of classified information. Yeah, like if this is the case, yeah, absolutely, investigate this fucker, 100%, 100%. If this ends up being the case, and like there seems to be evidence to suggest that absolutely an investigation is warranted, and it turns out that it is true, that he's responsible for mishandling classified documents and putting national security at risk, then yeah, there must be consequences, right? It's not like he had an example of what not to do in the form of somebody named Clinton. That's funny. The FBI search also became a talking point in the Florida gubernatorial race. Of course, Governor DeSantis, a potential 2024 Republican rival to Trump, tweeted the raid of Mar-a-Lago is another escalation in the weaponization of federal agencies against the regime's political opponents. These gnats. Yeah, it's not it's definitely not the leftist fault. You got yourself into this hot water, my friend. Hold on. Ron DeSantis said the raid of Mar-a-Lago is another escalation in the weaponization of federal agencies against the regime's political opponents. Remember when I say that every accusation ends up being a confession. This dude literally just fired a attorney general because the attorney general said that he would not enforce any abortion laws. So talk about the weaponization of bureaucratic agencies against political opponents, huh? Florida Representative Charlie Crist, a Democratic gubernatorial candidate, shot back Governor DeSantis' knee-jerk partisan response to this law. Enforcement action proves the idiot is more interested in playing politics than seeking justice or the rule of law. Ron DeSantis is an authoritarian fuck. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. Every accusation is just a confession, right? Yeah, projection. Correct. Yep. Every accusation is just a confession, right? I mean, like, how could you simultaneously say that you're crying about, like, the regime weaponizing federal agencies when you're literally doing the same thing? You just did that. You literally just did that. Remember, folks, gaslight, obstruct, project. Gaslight, obstruct, project. That's all in my mind. That's all in my mind. Anyways, good memes. I'm sure all of this, I'm sure all of this story is being very meticulously covered and very but if you think about how to commit voter fraud all the time, you might start to see it everywhere. Yeah, there you go. I'm sure that this story is going to get covered very fairly and with the utmost integrity by our good friends, our centrist friends who just want the truth, right? Who just want the truth. Trump and MAGA's got splinters in the windmills of their minds. Yeah, that's one way of saying it. There's loads of heaps of brown smelly stuff coming from the tracks of the USA and heading over here. Oof. Let's take a look at how our wonderful friends, our truly principled journalist friends are covering this, right? The centrists of the centrist. The people who just care about the facts, right? I think they mean the UK because the J is right next to the K on the keyboard. It's funny that Republicans are calling for the defunding of the FBI, who are basically national police. Oh yeah, I've seen that one too. Wasn't that a Marjorie Taylor Greene tweet? Hold on, let's see if we can find it. That was a good meme. Hold on. Oh, this is too much. Hold on. Folks, if you have a second, go to twitch.tv/SurferMcGritty. Go give him a follow. Do the things, you know? Hold on.
Unprecedented action.
Unprecedented.
This is an abomination.
This is unbelievable.
This is some third world bullshit right here.
The FBI executing a search warrant at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago property in Palm Beach, Florida.
We have the raid of a former president's home in America.
Yeah.
So heck, we deserve answers now.
This is not just an attack on Donald.
Yeah, in America, no one's above the law. No one's king here. Yeah, it could happen. Yes. Yes, and if a former president or current president is committing crimes, yeah.
Trump, this is an attack on every
Every
single
American.
This is
folks.
the Rubicon being crossed.
Every American, folks.
This is something we've never seen before. This is something that is outrageous, and the usage of the
I don't know about
FBI
that.
in this way is really the nail in the coffin for so many Americans as to whether you can trust the FBI or trust the DOJ. Clearly not on political matters.
Why is it that the arrows only fly at Donald Trump and his family? Why is it that the political persecution only goes one way in this country?
Because only one way is doing the crimes. What? Only one side or one specific group is doing the crimes? What?
If this can happen to a former president of the United States, I mean, what could this look like for the American people?
What are you talking about? This shit happens all the time. What? Hold on. 1 second, folks. That was too funny. 1 second. So somebody is potentially going to be under investigation for doing crimes. And what could this possibly mean for the American people? That this happens? What? I wish someone would tell me what is going on with the Albuquerque Muslim men murders. I think they caught the person, didn't they?
They are coming after me.
They're coming after me.
I am fighting for you.
No,
and we will.
It's because you are potentially under investigation for the crimes. Yes.
Win because we know how to win.
Not really. You lost. Quite a lot, actually. Huh. And of course, go donate. The fleece. The fleecing. Go donate to save America or something. Anyways, that was a good meme. Let me find that Marjorie Taylor Greene tweet. Instagram is okay, hold on, folks. This is just too much. All right, here's the grift, right? Yep, sometime on Rumble really brushed up on my hog NPC dialogue trees. Oh yeah. The time has come for the corrupt FBI, the federal Biden informants, to flex their muscles at an honest, hard-working president portrayed as the devil by child grooming radical Dems. Perfect. These are dark times for our nation as my beautiful home in Mar-a-Lago is currently under siege. Raided and occupied by a large... Raided and occupied... You mean executing a search warrant? By a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the U.S. before. After working and cooperating with relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It's prosecutorial misconduct. Wait. So there is a case going on, right? The weaponization of the justice system and an attack by the radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president, especially based on recent polls and who will likely do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterms elections. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. No. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. They even broke into my safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the DNC? The difference? Well, for one, Watergate was a crime. Those were burglars, not people serving a search warrant. Oh man, the memes. That part is true. I don't want him to run except on a treadmill for his health. Trump's son is 6'7". I don't know about that, nor does it matter. Anyways, good meme. Save America, stop communism, impeach Biden. Damn. The thoughts of a rational person on display. Elections are how Americans solve political differences. Really? Then explain January 6th. Not by radicalizing our federal law enforcement to take political enemies out. What? Bro, the director of the FBI is your guy. The director of the FBI was appointed by Trump. This is why we must protect election integrity. What does that have to do with serving warrants? Oh yeah, here we are. Defund the FBI. Okay. All right, we found the tweet. Oh, man. The memes make themselves. The memes make themselves with this one, right? I don't know who Leona Helmsby is, but if someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene can make her look smart, yikes. Brian Taylor Cohen is cool. Oh, ha! Went from back the blue to defund the blue real quick. That's funny. Defund the FBI. Upside down flag. The FBI is raiding President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago. It's Mar-a-Lago, but okay. This is a rogue behavior of communist countries, not the United States of America. These are type of things that happen under countries during civil war. The political persecution must stop. Well, I mean... if you don't do shady stuff, then you don't have FBI agents serving a warrant. Anyways, very normal, very sane. Purge the DOJ. Abolish the ATF. Defund the FBI. And of course the one joke, right? Wow, so original. Damn. How could I compete? How could I compete with such galaxy brain tweets like this? I don't know. How could I compete with such galaxy brain takes like this? Anyways. So, back to the original point. I'm sure our centrist friends are going to cover this in the most responsible, in the most responsible manner. And of course, maintaining journalistic integrity. Let's see.
The judge who signed off on the sealed search warrant of Mar-a-Lago is now being reported to have links to Jeffrey Epstein, and boy, does this get interesting.
Oh no. No men in women's anything? Does that include their... Oh, yeah, well, if it was up to Marjorie Taylor Greene, yeah, all of that would be banned.
So many questions. What does it all mean?
So many questions. I'm just gonna sit here and ask questions for 30 minutes, you know. Using a New York Post article. Trump did use the DOJ to go after his political opponents. Yeah, probably. I mean, I would have to refresh my memory on that, but...
You can already hear the mainstream media saying conspiracy theory alert.
Oh, buddy. You're saying that. Damn. 19 seconds in and we're already off to the races with the self-report. Well, that didn't take long. Maybe, I mean, yeah, okay, we can just... I guess that's it, right? That's the end of the video. Okay.
But there is something interesting here. This judge apparently was a lawyer who switched sides, started to aid Epstein, and many people questioned why he did it. But we can take a look at the actual stories going back to discuss what happened and why. Now, I can tell you about this judge, his links to Jeffrey Epstein, and that's about it. I don't know what else it means.
Then what is the relevance then? What, that you're trying to say that he might have been a corrupt judge? Yeah, maybe. But what does this have to do with anything? Echo Russell Dragon, Temple, fun to come into. Yeah, we just started it too, like literally 19 seconds in and he's already self-reporting that this is conspiratorial.
I will say before we go forward, I don't believe in grandiose conspiracy theories. I really
No, you just endorsed pretty much about all of them. What? Dude, you hang out with Alex Jones, bro. Okay.
don't. I don't think there is an international cabal that controls everything. I think there are international cabals that control things, but that's not a conspiracy theory. That's like international organizations that work with each other on policy and often behind the scenes in ways that we would find to be amoral and ethical, which is to say conspiracies literally exist. So I'll put it this way. There likely are very powerful entities and interests that exist
What? Okay.
The world that work together for some means, sometimes nefarious. I don't believe, is what I'm trying to get to. I don't think that there is one cabal controlling the world or anything like that. I don't think anyone's in control. I really don't. You know, I wonder why it is a show like mine can exist. I wonder why it is that other prominent individuals can call out stories like this. And it's because there's a battle for control. Powerful elites are fighting for power all day, every day. But that's about it.
What? Listen, I'm tired as heck, but was there a point in there? Like, was this all a setup to make him seem like non-conspiratorial when he's right about to get into some conspiratorial stuff? Like, what was the point of that?
Varying degrees, there is a conflict between special interests and powerful interests trying to gain control of things. And that is to say, these grandiose conspiracy theories, I don't believe in them. I do think, however, something needs to be investigated. I do think we know about the likes of Jeffrey Epstein and other world leaders who were palling around with him and what may have been a large blackmail operation being busted. We don't know. We don't. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think there is something nefarious here with the Epstein stuff. I think it's fairly obvious considering.
Didn't he just say at the beginning that he didn't know? And now he's saying there is something nefarious going on here? Like, the title of his video is clearly to make that implication.
Considering the revelations over the past several years and plus decade or so longer, things Alex Jones had been calling out. I'm just trying to say.
But remember, he's not a conspiracy theorist. He just thinks that Alex Jones is correct.
I don't think they're as powerful as you think they are, but I think something is here. Now, while all this is going on, we do have
oh god,
Donald
this
Trump's
is going to be
response to the FBI
holy
raid
yikes!
signaling.
This is going to be 30 minutes of freaking asking questions. Oh my god, I can feel it. I can feel it. This is going to be 30 minutes of just asking questions.
What appears to be a run in 2024. He says the best is yet to come. Talking about this country being in danger. and dissolving, or we'll get the exact terminology from his video. But we have hordes of Trump supporters, they say, coming out to Mar-a-Lago to support him. We have even Andrew Cuomo calling out the raid, and George Conway, of all people, saying they've crossed the Rubicon. Yo, dark days indeed, Donald Trump. As he said, dark days for our country. We have another story about Mark Milley, Joint Chiefs of Staff under Trump. Apparently, he wrote up a resignation letter and then never submitted it. The reason I think this is relevant to this segment is that we can see at the highest levels of government, the culture war has fractured this country, and something insane and unthinkable is currently happening.
What?
How many of you had Epstein-linked judge approves raid on Trump's house on your 2022 bingo cards? This one's getting interesting. Let's read the news, but before we do, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Stations with Larry Elder. I think it's very interesting. We got to see. We want to make FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago once linked to Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to read this for you, and then we'll dive a little deeper and take a look at what the Miami Herald had to say.
Do not go to support this guy.
The Florida federal magistrate judge who signed off on a search warrant authorizing the FBI raid of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort left the local U.S. attorney's office more than a decade ago to represent employees of Jeffrey Epstein, who had received immunity in the long-running trafficking investigation.
So, wait a minute. This guy's from Florida. Wait. Who controls the legislature in Florida? Who appoints just judges in Florida? Wait, no, I think you actually vote for them. Hold on. All judges, currently most circuit judges and county court judges are elected. I don't know.
Of the financier. Sources tell the Post that Judge Bruce Reinhart approved the warrant that enabled federal agents to converge on the palatial South Florida estate on Monday in what Trump called an unannounced raid on my home. Reinhart was elevated to magistrate judge in March 2018 after 10 years in private practice. That November, the Miami Herald reported that he had represented several of Epstein's employees, including, by Reinhart's own admission to the outlet, Epstein's pilots, his scheduler, Sarah Kellen and Nadia Marcinkova, who Epstein once repeatedly described as his Yugoslavian sex slave. Kellen and Marcinkova were among Epstein's lieutenants, who were granted immunity as part of a controversial 2007 deal with federal prosecutors that allowed Epstein to plead guilty to state charges rather than federal crimes. Epstein wound up serving just 13 months in county jail and was granted work release. According to the outlet, Reinhart resigned from the South Florida U.S. Attorney's Office effective on New Year's Day 2008 and went to work for Epstein's cohorts the following day.
What if we could see cyber threats in real life? Yesterday,
who was found dead in August 2019 of an apparent suicide in the Manhattan Correctional Center.
Why does this guy sound like he got bullied in high school? Oh man, hold on. That was... Hold on. I think that there's more to this story. Wait. Hold on, chat. All right. Oh man, the memes write themselves. Why should they announce the raid? More heaps of destroyed documents. I mean, they served out the warrant as is. This guy's doing a poor mimicry of Tucker Carlson. No, I like Walter's assessment better. Oh man. So the story gets better, by the way. This guy, the judge, Judge Bryant Reinhardt, is the guy who signed off on the raid. He was appointed by Trump. Yeah. He was appointed by Trump. So there's no I mean, how divorced from reality do you have to be to believe that this is some kind of grand conspiracy or political there's a grand conspiracy for political prosecution. This guy was appointed by Trump in 2018. Here. Donald Trump appointed Judge Bruce Reinhardt to the position, and he began serving as a judge in 2018. He gave his blessing to the search warrant of the former president's property. I could flip it around if you want to indulge Tim Pool's little tinfoil hat here. If you want to put it on for just a moment. Assuming on the basis that, yeah, he was a Trump, he was an Epstein defender, right? Like, he worked for the employees of Epstein to try to, protect them. That begs the question. Wouldn't that beg the question then why Trump appointed him if that's the case? If it is true that he had some tangential relation to the Epstein case where he defended Epstein's pilots or whatever, why did Trump appoint him? Damn. But don't worry, folks. I'm pretty sure that our integrated, are very, very centrist, very good journalist. They already got 15 boxes out of documents? Maybe, I don't know. Remember when you had a lot of viewers? Yeah, me too. I remember. Your wish is my command.
While awaiting trial on federal trafficking charges, had hired a stable of high-powered lawyers, including former independent counsel Kenneth Starr. Reinhardt was later named in a civil lawsuit that accused him of violating Justice Department policies by switching sides in the middle of the Epstein investigation.
Wait, so then why did Trump nominate him? What?
Suggesting he had used inside information about the probe to build favor with the notorious defendant, the Herald reported in 2018. In a 2011 affidavit, Reinhardt denied he had done anything improper and insisted that since he was not involved in the federal investigation of Epstein, he was not privy to inside information about the case. However, in a 2013 court filing, Reinhardt's former colleagues contradicted him, saying that he had learned confidential, non-public information about the Epstein matter. Reinhardt noted to the Herald in response that a complaint filed against him by a lawyer for Epstein's victims had been dismissed by the Justice Department. In his 12 years as federal prosecutor, according to his official biography, Reinhardt managed a docket that covered the full spectrum of federal crimes, including narcotics, violent crimes, public corruption, financial frauds, child, let's just say, horrifying imagery, and immigration. Reinhardt is one of 3 federal magistrate judges in the West Palm Beach offices of the U.S. District Court of the Southern District Court of Florida, along with William Matthewman and Ryan McCabe. 2 recent warrant applications were assigned to Reinhardt and entered into the court system on Monday, the Miami Herald reported. But those warrants and information about who they targeted remain sealed. Records show another warrant was issued by Reinhart on Friday, but its contents were also sealed. Trump confirmed media reports of a raid at his Florida resort on Monday evening, saying Mar-a-Lago was under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. The agents were reportedly searching the seaside property for boxes of classified documents Trump allegedly brought to the ritzy resort after he left the White House in 2021, which would be a violation of federal record-keeping laws. The removal of classified documents to unauthorized locations is banned under federal law, although Trump had wide powers when he was president to declassify documents. I wonder. Now, conspiracies. Interesting. What could Trump have taken from classified documents that he wanted to retain?
Uh-oh.
Let's play a game of hypotheticals.
No.
Could Donald Trump?
No. Oh, here we go. This is some. This is the QAnon shit. This is QAnon dog whistles. Holy yikes! This is QAnon whistles, dog whistles. Donald Trump was taking confidential, classified information to bring down the deep state. Oh man. This Trump stuff has brought out a number of competitors for you tonight? Nah, there's no such thing. These are just people who have nothing else to do. Yeah, everything that I find so far is pointing that this guy was actually appointed by Donald Trump in 2018. So I'm getting some conflicting information. I need to know who exactly appointed this guy. Okay, hold on. I just got here. Who appointed who? Who appointed the Judge Bruce Reinhart? How's it going, Maple Leaf Dragon? I need to know this. I need to be sure. Okay, hold on. Federal magistrate judges are federal judges who serve in the U.S. state district courts but are not appointed by the president, nor do they serve life terms. Magistrate judges are assigned duties by district judges in the districts which they serve. Okay. So, fake news. This guy was appointed during Trump's presidency. As far as I can tell.
Have seen classified documents related to Epstein and potential government involvement or malfeasance. Could Donald Trump have wanted to have leverage as he left the White House?
Leverage for what? What? Leverage for what? Yeah, we're getting into QAnon territory. These are QAnon dog whistles, folks.
Donald Trump took these records knowing that they would try to come after him. I'm not saying I have any evidence to suggest this.
Because you
I
don't.
just think it's interesting.
I'm just asking questions.
Take boxes of classified documents, but not declassify those documents. That sounds to me like leverage. Or let's calm down a little bit. It's entirely possible that Trump had a bunch of boxes and that one of his assistants or aides grabbed a bunch of boxes and Trump didn't really know or care what was going on. How deep down the rabbit hole do you want to look? And how far do you want to speculate? I don't know. But if Donald Trump did take these documents as leverage, then an Epstein-linked judge may want to figure out what leverage Donald Trump did take. Oh, crazy days indeed. It's all speculative. I don't know. Look, it could be really simple. This guy's just a judge. His past may be totally irrelevant.
Listen, I'm just going to ask a whole bunch of questions for the remainder of this video, okay?
This could be Democrats wanting to go after Trump, or it could literally just be that Donald Trump.
The guy that authorized, or I should say the FBI director, is a Trump person.
Trump has classified documents. They haven't charged him with a crime. Far be it from me to speculate definitively. I can tell you what may be interesting. Now, what's true? This judge, Epstein linked. But it's a little bit darker than just saying linked. Courtlistener.com. This is what's going around. August 5th, sealed magistrate matter. Search warrant issued on 8/5/2022. But we don't know. We don't know. Some people are suggesting this could be the warrant on Donald Trump. We don't know. Assigned to Bruce E. Reinhart. This is what the New York Post mentioned. Jumping over to Twitter. Comfortably Smug says, wait, what the? This Bruce Reinhart? Here's the story from the Miami Herald. On October 23rd, 2007, as federal prosecutors in South Florida were in the midst of tense negotiations to finalize a plea deal with accused trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, a senior prosecutor in the office was quietly laying out plans to leave the U.S. Attorney's Office after 11 years. On that date, as emails were flying between Epstein's lawyers and federal prosecutors, Bruce E. Reinhart, now a federal magistrate, opened a, I don't know what word it is, limited liability company, that's what it looks like, limited liability company in Florida that established what would become his new criminal defense practice. The stated address, according to Florida State Corporate Records, 250 South Australian Avenue, Suite 1400. It was the same location and identical suite number as that of Epstein's lead attorney, Jack Goldberger. Cue the dun-dun-dun mystery. Interesting. They carry on. By the end of the year, Reinhart had resigned his post in the Southern District of Florida. Within days, on January 2nd, 2008, he was hired to represent several of Epstein's accused accomplices who would later, like Epstein, federal immunity for allegedly trafficking underage girls. Reinhart's defection was one of many highly unusual turns that the Epstein case took 12 years ago. Moves that could merit examination as the multimillionaire's controversial non-prosecution agreement is dissected in the wake of his arrest last week on trafficking charges. Ladies and gentlemen, wow. I don't know what to say, man. We don't know. And I'm always very careful when it comes to conspiracy theories. So I will stress again, as I said in the opening, the intro to the segment, I don't think any one group controls anything. I think conspiracies are real. How do you investigate and uncover them? I don't know. But any good journalist should be a conspiracy theorist. No, seriously.
What? No.
If you're going to try and dig up corporate or political malfeasance, you must assume.
This is actually insane. No. a good journalist follows whatever, facts are put in front of you. A good journalist doesn't sit there and speculate for 30 minutes without having every fact in front of them. That's obvious, I hope, right? I mean, what one could hope that a good journalist would only take or would only go where the facts take them. Looks like K. Michael Moore, the Chief United States District Judge, appointed him. Gotcha. And who appointed that guy? Ah. I'm no Trump fan. I want him as far away from the White House as possible, but a fundamental part of his appeal has been that it's him against a corrupt government establishment. This raid strengthens that case for millions of Americans who will see this as an unjust prosecution. So again, if there are crimes being done here, do we just let it go? Like, is that the argument? Like, listen, we can't rile up the MAGA hats, okay? Because they're gonna see it as an unjust persecution. I mean, we know that there's evidence, and we just can't do it because that's what they feel. We have to appeal to the feelings of these people. Fuck that. I don't give a shit. If there are, if there's evidence to suggest that an investigation needs to proceed, then so be it. Like, the implication then here, by this logic, then, you know what? Then, yeah, I guess, you know, if you're in a, I guess just rules don't apply to certain people. Because you wouldn't want to strengthen the case for millions of Americans who will see this as an unjust persecution. Like, these people aren't even to be considered. They're not living in the basis of reality. Like, I don't care what these people think, right? If a crime was done, or if there's evidence to suggest that, well, there's criminal activity going on, it should be investigated. I mean, I remember the certain catchphrase that these millions of people said. Something to the effect of "F your feelings." Hey, I like pie. How's it going? Very insightful. Thanks, Andrew Yang. Cool.
There is something there. A conspiracy theory, as it were. It's funny because conspiracy theory becomes a catch-all for just out of the ordinary circumstance. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, people say flat Earth is a conspiracy theory. Sort of, but not really. It's just people.
What? What? Flat Earth is a conspiracy, sort of, but not really? Bro. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Remember, he started this video by saying he's not a conspiracy theorist.
People believing weird things. I guess.
No, it's not. It's not people believing weird things, dude. It's a certain percent of the population not living in reality, okay? Judge Moore was then appointed by George Pappy Bush in 92. Gotcha. Okay, so I don't know why I keep seeing like this information suggesting or pointing to the direction that Donald Trump appointed this guy. I don't know why this keeps popping up. Okay. Yeah, flat Earth is not just like people believing in weird things, okay? It's a conspiracy theory.
The conspiracy theory of it is that the government is secretly trying to convince people that the world is really round or something. Okay, the world is round, guys. Sorry. That's just, you can do the tests yourself. It's actually kind of funny. But anyway, I digress. When you have powerful, prominent interests, and you see like a prosecutor resign and then go work to defend Epstein, that just rings of a conspiracy. Like behind the scenes, an arrangement had been made. It doesn't mean that they rule the world or lizard people are everywhere. It just means that people with power use power, and that's the name of the game. So take it all with a grain of salt. But this is important.
Oh, trust me, we do. No.
Because I really do wonder, if Donald Trump did intentionally take boxes of classified documents, I wonder what those documents pertain to and why. Perhaps it's simple to look at this from the lens of the Hillary Clinton story and say Donald Trump just had records. And you can't do that. But maybe, if we want to speculate, what if Trump was digging up leverage? What if this is them discovering what Trump has?
On what?
I'd like to think there's some grand plot. I really would, but I just don't know. I know all these people were like, Donald Trump's going to be appointed on March 3rd or whatever. And they said all these crazy things that just never happened. The reality that life is much more boring is a reality that many people don't want to admit to. The reality is, it was probably some low-level dude who just carried boxes out and didn't know what they were. And Trump didn't know. That's it. The reality is much more boring than we'd like to admit. But what's happening with Donald Trump is, well, it's not so boring. And as much as we can say...
What? But if you really believe that, then why do you keep insinuating that there's some grand conspiracy? And literally a couple minutes ago, you were talking about implying that Donald Trump has leverage or has knowledge relating to the Epstein case. What?
Maybe life is more boring than we want to admit. When you look at the circumstances, a president's private residence being raided, we can certainly say we are outside of normalcy at this point, and normalcy bias should go out the window. We want to believe that the simple solution tends to be correct, but the president's home just got raided by the feds. So who knows? Now, many people are speaking up. Ron DeSantis said the raid of Mar-a-Lago is another escalation in the weaponization of federal agencies against the regime's political opponents, while people like Hunter Biden get treated with kid gloves. Now the regime is getting another 87,000 IRS agents to wield against its adversaries. Banana Republic.
What? What does the IRS have to do with this? What?
Yeah. And guess what else? Andrew Cuomo, of all people, has come out defending Donald Trump. Now that's surprising. Sort of. I mean, I'll put it this way. Andrew Cuomo was run across the coals, so I can kind of imagine him being like, wait, are we investigating politicians now? This is a bad thing. Daily Caller reports. Former Democratic New York Governor Andrew Cuomo called for the DOJ to quickly justify the FBI raid on former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence to avoid the perception that it was politically motivated and tainting investigations into January 6th, saying, DOJ must immediately explain the reason for its raid, and it must be more than a search for inconsequential archives, or it will be viewed as a political tactic and undermine any future credible investigations and legitimacy of January 6th investigations. Here's what I'd like to believe.
This is nothing
I'd like to believe that
to
Donald
do
Trump
with that?
is up against a bureaucratic state and the criminal elements associated with Epstein.
That's literally QAnon. Holy yikes. Oh man, this video is about QAnon. Jesus Christ. This video is literally about QAnon. Let's take a listen to that again.
justify the FBI raid on former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence to avoid the perception that it was politically motivated and tainting investigations into January 6th, saying, DOJ must immediately explain the reason for its raid, and it must be more than a search for inconsequential archives, or it will be viewed as a political tactic and undermine any future credible investigations and legitimacy of January 6th investigations. Here's what I'd like to believe. I'd like to believe that
Here's what I'd like to believe. I'd like to believe Donald Trump
is up against a bureaucratic state.
Is up against a bureaucratic state, or one could say a deep state.
And the criminal elements.
And the criminal elements
associated with Epstein.
With Epstein. This is literally QAnon. This is indistinguishable from QAnon garbage. I heard from a guy who knows an FBI agent that Trump deleted 33,000 emails and scrubbed all his computers and phones. Time to jail time for the Don. Not aware of that. Source?
Epstein, of course, was Epsteined. That's what they call it. And there are still accomplices and associates out there. I'd like to believe that Donald Trump is on this secret mission where he's like, we got to get rid of these cabals and these conspiracies and all that stuff. And this is part of that war. I just don't. I don't like, show me evidence, show me a reason to believe it. And it's like a maybe. Like maybe Donald Trump bumbled into it like he did with the Ukraine gate stuff.
Wait, maybe?
Trump's son Eric claimed Monday the raid was done over documents the former president took to Mar-a-Lago from the White House.
Wait, so, oh my God. Either you believe this or you don't. Well, I'm sorry, that's not good enough for me. My friend, all right, well, I could say that too. My friend is, also an FBI agent, and he said that it was actually 35,000 billion emails. I saw a reference to Judge Bruce Reinhardt before its appointment representing Jeff Epstein's pilots in the Secretary of Court case. Haven't found anything rock solid yet. That might be true. I'm just not sure. I'm having a hard time, and it's part of the I assume, it's part of the gig. He said that he wasn't a conspiracy theorist, then alluded to the conspiracy theory, then laid out the conspiracy theory and said he doesn't actually believe in it. But earlier he was saying that he thinks that this has to do with leverage. Okay. I think he said Monday. It doesn't matter to me. If there's no evidence, it means anything. It doesn't mean anything. My friend also said that it's actually Tuesday. I guess he was a pretty popular defense attorney back in the day. Maybe that's what explains it. I don't know.
Did he actually take them? Says according to Eric, or is this what is being alleged? Trump releases campaign-style video after raid, as Laura says Dems terrified of 24 run. The president has responded. What we're seeing here signals something absolutely insane. I mean, national divorce, civil war, call it whatever you want.
Here we go.
When news.
Damn, this guy can't go a month without making several Civil War videos. Jesus.
Comes out that the judge who signed off on this had worked for Epstein in suspicious circumstances. People are going to start losing it.
What?
Because the Democrats crossed the Rubicon. Let me show you this. CNN. They crossed the Rubicon. Conway reacts to FBI search of Trump's home.
But the Dems didn't do this. What? The Dems didn't do this.
George Conway is not a Trump supporter. He hates the man. And even he said they've crossed the Rubicon. That's where we are. Look, whatever you believe about the Epstein stuff, about...
Here we go. I lose so many brain cells listening to these people. Yeah, I'm less smart for now watching this.
Conspiracy or anything like that. There are people who believe it. It's all that matters. It doesn't matter what you think is true. There is truth. There is objective reality. But you look at BLM and Antifa on the far left, and they operate based solely on power. The fascistic tenet. There is no truth but power. That's what they believe. Many people on the right aren't going to care. They're going to say, I've seen enough. Trump has issued a statement.
That's literally not how that works. That is, holy yikes. That is divorced from reality. Talk about being divorced from reality.
During an appearance on Fox News, Laura Trump claimed that Monday's hour-long FBI action was about weaponizing the justice system. They detest Donald Trump. Not just the Democrat side, but the general establishment. Because he's not one of them. Because he doesn't play their game. I wonder.
What?
I wonder.
What are you talking about? Donald Trump is the establishment. What? Donald Trump is the establishment. What are you talking about? An absurdly wealthy oligarch who has a history of donating to both parties? What?
I want to speculate some more. It is widely
Here we
believed,
go.
though I'm not sure how true, that Jeffrey Epstein had blackmail on many world leaders, which could explain his immunity and protection until Donald Trump, right? Right. Many people point out that Donald Trump was seen with Epstein and things like that, but Donald Trump also heavily disparaged Epstein. I don't know.
I don't know about heavily disparaged. That's whew, man, we're threading needles here. Here we go. This is QAnon. Dan Simpson, rating with a party of 9. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hey, how's it going? Folks, if you have a moment, please go check out twitch.tv/iDanSimpson. Go give him a follow, alright? Marvy, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. If you haven't seen us before, we are A Difficult Truth. We do news and politics Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have Catterdays at Sundays on noon. Gotta roll. Have a good stream. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you for bringing all your wonderful folks over here. Appreciate it. Thank you. Folks, don't forget, if you have 5 seconds, make sure you hit the follow button. You get 5 free emotes. And if you go on over to YouTube and hit the big red subscribe button, it does help us out a lot.
Highly possible Trump is just another global elite, whatever, fine.
It is. He is.
But maybe,
he is.
if we speculate. The reason they don't like Trump is because they don't have anything on him. And they didn't. And that's why they struggled to control him. They tried Russiagate, it didn't work. They tried Ukrainegate, it didn't work. They impeached him twice, it just didn't work. Now they're going for more. Could it be that with Epstein, he was running a blackmail operation and they had evidence? They had incriminating compromat on many world leaders, but not Trump. That's apparently the game.
How do you know that? What? How do you know that?
That Epstein was playing. You bring these people out flying up. Oh, look, I got a private plane. We're going to fly to the island. You're going to love it. Then some beautiful young woman wants to party with you. And you're like, yeah. And then you wink, wink, party. And the next day you're like, that was great. And they say, she's underage and here's the video. And you go, uh-oh. Sounds like it, right? Why was he trafficking in underage girls? Well, the dude clearly was a psychotic, disgusting monster. But probably using them for blackmail.
Or maybe these people wanted that? I don't know. How do you know these things?
If that is the case. I don't know for sure. But Trump said the U.S. has become a failing nation.
Yeah, just saying things and just asking questions. Jesus.
Saying the best is yet to come.
Okay.
Signaling what may be a 2024 run. Now, I think everybody agrees Trump is going to be running. We'll see what they try to do to stop him. We'll see what all this turns into. Trump supporters are here for him. Horde of angry Trump supporters descend on Mar-a-Lago in the hours following shock FBI raid. MAGA crowd questions agency's motives and blasts double standard in reporting on Hunter Biden and Nancy Pelosi. Here we are as a nation, my friends. When George Conway says they crossed the Rubicon, one thing I mentioned earlier in a segment is the point at which you flee a country when it's breaking down. I don't know what that means for you or anybody, but I can tell you, we look to the survivors of major crises and catastrophes. And maybe they did the right thing because they're alive. Maybe they didn't. Maybe the people who stood up against certain ideas, maybe if they remained, those things would not have happened. To put it this way, if you have 100 people in an area, 20 of them have become violent extremists and are advocating for extremism.
What?
20 of them then flee. You have much less to hold back the tide. But maybe if those 20 stayed, you would just have 80% refusing. But I don't know. Maybe there's no answer. I take a look at what's happening now. We have the story from the post-millennial. Millie, triggered by Trump Black Lives Matter riot crackdown, wrote emotional resignation letter. The reason I highlight this in the context of these stories is it shows you, to the highest level of government, the culture war has permeated. And even Millie has Trump derangement syndrome and leftist derangement.
What?
He's in the cult. Bradley P. Moss on Twitter.
Wait, what evidence? What? Wait. Because he resigned? He's now awoke?
I take a look at what's happening now. We have the story from the post-millennial.
Okay.
Millie, triggered by Trump Black Lives Matter riot crackdown, wrote emotional resignation letter. The reason I highlight this in the context of these stories is it shows you, to the highest level of government, the culture war has permeated.
This has nothing to do with the culture war. What? Yeah, woke Millie. Damn.
And even Millie has Trump derangement syndrome.
Damn.
And
so again,
leftist derangement.
So leftist derangement is when you realize that you're dealing with an authoritarian fuck, and you're like, damn, I don't want to deal with this anymore, and you resign.
He's in the cult.
Oh, and also he's in a cult. Oh my god, this is amazing. This is amazing. As opposed to the Trump people, they're not in a cult, right? They're not in a cult. They're the people with the feet on the ground, right? With their feet firmly planted on the ground. They've got it figured out. Everything is the culture war to them, just more projection. Yep.
Bradley P. Moss on Twitter. This is the resignation text Millie wrote but never submitted to Trump. Wow. Interesting. The New Yorker reported. He says, I regret to inform you that I intend to resign as your chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Thank you for the honor of appointing me as senior ranking officer. The events of the last couple of weeks have caused me to do deep soul searching, and I can no longer faithfully support and execute your orders as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Damn. Just another victim. Another fallen victim to the woke, folks. It's a shame. It's a real shame.
It is my belief that you were doing great and irreparable harm to my country. I believe that you have made a concerted effort over time to politicize the United States military.
Jesus. Remember, this is leftist derangement, right? This is leftist derangement to Tim Pool.
I thought I could change that. I've come to the realization that I cannot, and I need to step aside and let someone else try to do that. Second, you're using the military to create fear in the minds of the people, and we are trying to protect the American people. I can't stand idly by and participate in that attack, verbally or otherwise.
Damn. Truly, the embodiment of leftist of leftist rhetoric. Oh man.
The American people. The American people trust their military, and they trust us to protect them against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And our military will do just that. We will not turn our back on the American people. Third, I swore an oath to the Constitution of the United States, and embodied within the Constitution is the idea that says that all men are created equal. All men and women are created equal, no matter who you are. Whether you are white or black, Asian, Indian, no matter the color of your skin, no matter if you're gay, straight, or something in between. It doesn't matter if you're Catholic, Protestant, Muslim, Jew, or choose not to believe. None of that matters. It doesn't matter what country you came from, what your last name is. What matters is we're Americans. We're all Americans. That under these colors of red, white, and blue, the colors that my parents fought for in World War II.
This is directly from the woke Bible, by the way, folks. Okay, all of this is direct quotes from the woke Bible. Okay,
means something around the world. It's obvious to me that you don't think of those colors the same way I do. It's obvious to me that you don't hold those values dear.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna pause right there. I don't need to read the rest of this for you to get the point.
What?
He goes on to mention that the Great Generation and yada, 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 fighting Nazism and extremism. The Summer of Love. Black Lives Matter ransacked this country. It is estimated that between 26 and 32 or so people were killed in these riots. But Milley is in a cult. He's lost his mind.
Can anybody point to the evidence to suggest that? He's just saying that, listen, I don't actually believe what you're doing is correct, and I can't, like, do it anymore. That's it. I guess standing up for your principles, or at least in his mind for his principles, and an attempt to, I guess, show respect to his country in his way. I guess that's wokeism. I guess that's derangement from the left. I don't know.
We can see it plain as day. For those of us that
and like imagine like reading this from a general and thinking, yes, this is the embodiment of leftist like thought, and then go immediately to disrespect them.
News and know the truth. We know this worldview he's espoused makes no sense.
What?
Donald Trump.
What doesn't make any sense?
Donald Trump did not call on the military to shut down the riots. Many think he should have, but he didn't. Donald Trump was actually fairly moderate, according to Vox.com. This shows that at the highest levels, the cult has permeated. The fracturing is here. That was our chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Something dangerous and dark has come to this country, and it's reached a level. I don't know. It's reached the apex. Seeing that story about a judge and how he worked with Epstein.
Remember, he doesn't believe in conspiracy theories, but he does, but he doesn't, but it could be, but maybe not. Yeah, I don't know.
Very, very interesting.
It's very interesting.
You can take a look where we are.
I'm just asking questions.
Biden heavily coughs multiple times just 4 days after finally testing negative. President struggles through chip spill speech, and did he forget shaking hands with Schumer? Here's the video. Let me get to the video here. Chuck Schumer is speaking at the podium. I think here we have right here.
What? What does this have to do with anything?
Shakes Joe Biden's hand, shakes everyone else's hands, and causing a split. And now they're in conflict around him. Wonder if Joe is like, is he being puppeted by his advisors? Is he just doing what he's told to do? Because we know that he said that before. He said, they will get mad at me if I do X. Newsweek says, did Biden know about FBI search at Trump's Mar-a-Lago? What we know. Well, what we know is that many are saying Biden didn't know, that the White House only found out through social media because the DOJ is independent. But many on the right just don't believe that. I mean, why would they?
Well, facts don't care about your feelings? What?
Why would you believe they didn't know?
Do you have evidence to suggest otherwise?
Well, I gotta be fair. The reason I think Biden didn't know is because Biden forgets everything, and there's a lot of things he doesn't know. And maybe this is just the DOJ, the bureaucratic state, operating as it does, seemingly independent of the rule of law. Ron Paul, there's a meme going around where he said it seems like the FBI was just made to spy on those who disapproved of their agenda.
That's not true. What? But the director of the FBI that you're accusing of being in a partisan witch hunt is the same FBI director that you guys appointed. Make it make sense, god dang it. Many people are saying goes absolute proof apparently. True. That's all you need to do in a Tim Pool video. Just say many people are saying, and then you're good. Easy peasy. Works every time.
Yeah. Maybe that's what the FBI is.
I don't know.
Because I can tell you this. I've had conversations with lawyers, prosecutors, and agents, and for some reason they just don't really care about national crime unless it negatively impacts them and their political agenda. Yeah. I can't say too much, but I'll leave it at that. Many of you know we're dealing with security issues here at the Timcast Studios, but it makes you wonder.
What?
Next segment.
What? The implication here is that he's being targeted too? That he's part of the conspiracy and the deep state is coming after him? Like, what? Okay, dude. Okay. Excellent coverage, Tim Pool. Thank you for being so, thank you for maintaining journalistic integrity. Thank you. He's been swatted a few times, once live on air. It was wild. Yeah, I did hear about the one that was live. Tim Pool, the epitome of journalistic integrity. A while back, Lady Simpson watched some Tim Pool vids at random, looked up the articles he partially read, and the next paragraph on everyone contradicted what he said. Yeah, I mean, like, he literally in this 32-minute video, we were thrown in for like a wild ride. We started off with, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, then insinuated that he thinks that Trump has these documents for leverage, but didn't really explain that. Then he laid out the entire essentially QAnon conspiracy theory, then said he didn't believe that. Then he said, I didn't know. Yeah, so we were thrown for a loop there. Literally just scroll down more than him and the next paragraph starts. However, it's more complicated than that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Tim Pool isn't there to be honest. Tim Pool isn't there to tell you the truth. Tim Pool is a propagandist. Thanks, Tim Pool. Alright, now that we got that out of the way. More memes, okay? Utah-based company ripped out Made in China, replaced with Made in USA. This embodies the Trump cult in one article. If this doesn't embody what like the Trump movement is, I don't know what is. I don't know what does. An apparel company known for inflammatory apparel championing the Second Amendment and Donald Trump has been fined by the Federal Trade Commission, found that the company had falsely claimed its imported apparel is actually made in the U.S. Utah-based Lions Not Sheep and its owner, Sean Whalen, were slapped with a $211,335 fine. After the FTC found that the company removed the Made in China tags and replaced them with fake Made in USA labels. Yeah, Lions Not Cheap. The fine comes at the heels of a complaint filed by the FTC in May. According to the FTC, the company added phony Made in USA labels to clothing imported from China and other countries. The FTC release did not identify the other countries. The apparel company sells items including t-shirts, sweatshirts, and jackets on its website as well as through Amazon and Etsy. Products, according to the FTC, are marketed heavily through social media channels, claiming that it would show people it's possible to live your life as a lion, not as a sheep. While fleecing their sheep. Some of its shirts on websites read, "Give violence a chance." This is a disturbing take on John Lennon's "Give Peace a Chance," depicting former President Trump as a Terminator and featuring military-style firearms, because that's what the deranged psyche tells them to create. That's amazing. You have two choices: to lead or be led. This is blowing my line. No. This is blowing my mind. No, it's. This is exactly the embodiment of the entire Trump-like movement, right? Whalen said in a statement to USA Today, the company does not agree with the FTC ruling, but has no choice but to accept it and move on. Wait, you can't fight it because you know it's true. The statement said the company has been very honest and transparent about its business, citing an October 2020 video 2 years ago posted by Whalen, in which he says the company buys shirts that were made in China. Okay. Imagine like still supporting them. And B, the problem isn't that you're saying that you buy the shirts from China. The problem is that you're replacing the tags. That's a huge no-no. You can't do that. That's the problem. In addition to the fine under a 12-page order, the company and its owner must stop making bogus made in the USA claims and come clean about foreign production. Oh, hold on, that's true. That's true. The the labels that said made in USA were made in the USA, so that's legit. True. True. It goes on to read that if a product is assembled in the US, the company must ensure that it is last substantially transformed in the US. Its principal assembly occurs in the US and that its US assembly operations are substantial, which I assume they're not. I mean, like, if something doesn't embody, like, the MAGA movement, other than this article, I don't know what does. Appeals court says House can obtain Trump taxes from the IRS. A federal appeals court on Tuesday signed off on a House Ways and Means Committee request to obtain former President Trump's tax returns from the IRS. The 3-0 ruling from the D.C. Court of Appeals is a blow to Trump, who's argued for years in court against releasing his tax returns to any investigators. A trial-level judge he appointed while president previously rejected his arguments. Yeah, remember how he was going to say that he was going to release them any day now? Okay. Trump can still appeal, making the litigation unlikely to end at this time. The court said the judgment would not be issued for 7 days, giving Trump time to appeal. Can you link that hilarious article? Yeah, hold on. I'm probably going to tweet this out. No problem. Trump can still appeal, making the litigation unlikely to end at this time. The court said that the judgment would not be issued for 7 days, giving Trump time to appeal. The litigation is separate from the House Select Committee's investigation into the January 6th insurrection. The majority opinion, written by Circuit Judge Dave Santel, said that the Ways and Committee Chairman Richard Neal's request for records was within the scope of his committee's inquiry, and the court also rejected Trump's argument, claiming that the request had a retaliatory motive, making it invalid. Yeah. Oh, get bent. While it's possible that Congress may attempt to threaten the sitting president with an invasive request after leaving office, every president takes office knowing that he will be subject to the same laws as all other citizens upon leaving office is a feature of our democratic republic, not a bug. Yeah, what he's saying here is that nobody should be above the law. We don't have kings in this country. And if you commit a crime, former president or not, you should be investigated. Neal has have requested a return under a law that allows disclosure of an individual's tax returns to the committee, a request that the Trump administration had rebuffed. The appeals court on Tuesday said Trump did not prevail in his argument as former president. His record should not be turned over. In this case, the need for Trump Party's information to inform potential legislation overrides the burden to the executive branch largely. Largely because that burden is so tenuous. Santel, a Reagan appointee, wrote in an opinion. Jesus. Imagine, like, just think about that for a second. A Reagan appointee. Judge Karen Henderson, a George W. Bush appointee, H.W. Bush, Daddy Bush, and Robert Wilkins, an Obama appointee, also agree with this decision, though Henderson wrote that she believed there should be more scrutiny on a request like this that would have implications for the presidency. Neal praised the court's ruling in a statement on Tuesday. With great patience, we followed the judicial process, and yet again our position has been affirmed by the courts. I'm pleased that this long-anticipated opinion makes clear that the law is on our side. When we receive the returns, we will begin our oversight of the IRS's mandatory presidential audit program. Yeah, I bet Tim Pool is not going to talk about this. The case stems lawsuit Neil filed in 2019, seeking a court order compelling the IRS to then under the Trump administration to turn over tax returns. The litigation moved at a slow pace that outlasted Trump's presidency, and July of last year, the Justice Department signaled it was switching positions in the case in favor of the committee obtaining the returns. District Judge Trevor McFadden, a Trump appointee, last December granted the request from the department and the House to dismiss the case, prompting Trump's appeal to the D.C. court. All right, let's see another one who has like the most integral. Someone who also has a firm journalistic integrity.
Now a scary moment at a restaurant as a 10-month-old baby starts choking.
Jesus.
Jackson Hinkle, the most censored man on YouTube in America's... I'm here with Jackson Hinkle, the most censored man on YouTube in...
3 seconds in. 3 seconds in. I'm with Jackson Hinkle, the most censored man on YouTube. $95,000 views. 8 hours ago. The most censored man on YouTube. Dude promotes Russian-backed propagandists like Caleb Maupin and Jimmy Dore has gone Alex Jones. Yeah, I think so. I think that is a fair comparison. He's super censored. The FBI is after him. Did he do a crime? There's a reason for that, I assume.
America's comedian Kurt Metzger. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Former President Donald Trump says the FBI is searching his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. The circumstances of the search were not immediately clear. Former President Donald Trump said...
I see. He believes that YouTubers are FBI-funded agents aimed to discredit his, quote, journalism. I see. Makes total sense.
In a lengthy statement Monday that the FBI was conducting a search of his Mar-a-Lago estate and asserted that the agents had broken open a safe. The circumstances of the search were not immediately clear, though the Justice Department has been actively investigating the discovery of classified information in boxes of records that were taken to Trump's Florida residence after he left the White House. The action marks a dramatic escalation in law enforcement scrutiny of Trump and comes as he has been laying the groundwork to make another bid for president. After working... So this is all about not letting Trump run for president again because they know if he...
No. What? How did we get to this conclusion? How do you know this? How do you know this? Jimmy Dore doesn't read articles before going on air, apparently.
If he does, he'll probably beat Joe Biden. And they can't have this guy. And again, it's not that Trump is going to do anything different than Joe Biden is doing, but they can't have a guy like Trump doing it because he makes everything look bad. And then everybody all of a sudden gets upset that we're putting kids in cages. Everybody gets upset that we're starting.
So he reads from his little notes and prompter, and that's it? Yeah, 100%. I believe
two nuclear wars. Everybody gets upset that we're committing a genocide in Yemen. Everybody gets upset at police brutality. Everybody gets upset. But if you got Joe...
Did he think that people stopped being upset? What are Joe Biden's like approval numbers right now? What does Trump's raid have to do with kids in cages? Yeah, exactly. Because he believes in his mind, he's made up the conclusion that the only reason that this is happening, the only reason that the FBI raided his home, is because the Democrats are plotting to make sure he doesn't run again. Okay. Of course, this is 5-minute video. He's not going to substantiate any of this. He's not going to. Yeah. It's a parallel to the deep state stuff, right? Or at least feeding into
a
it.
demented Joe. Nobody cares. Or you get Barack Obama come out and sweet talk you. People look the other way, and that's what this is all about. That's what January 6th is about.
Nope. What? Dude, this guy's lost. This guy's lost.
That's what this is all about. They can't have a guy like him as the face of the establishment. That's all this is. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, the unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate.
If you want to be as charitable as possible, you could say that this is what the January 6th hearings are about. But even then, like, bro, are you for real? Have you seen the evidence that has come up in the January 6th hearings? Like, even if he's only talking about the hearings, like, the evidence that has been and the testimonies that have been put forth are pretty freaking damning. And to say that that is just some type of conspiracy to make people look over here, or plot against him running again is just nonsense. It's conspiratorial nonsense.
Trump said in a statement. Justice Department spokesperson Dana Iverson, or Dina, declined to comment on the search, including about whether Attorney General Merrick Garland had personally authorized the search. The discovery of classified information at Mar-a-Lago was referred to the Justice Department by the National Archives and Records Administration, which said...
Right, so it wasn't like the Dems plotting some secret, like, investigation, dude. There was some, some sussy-wussy things going on, and an investigation is starting, and part of investigations are obtaining evidence. That's just it. What, did you think that that was going to go any different? Trump right now is a private citizen, okay?
It had found classified material in 15 boxes at his residence. Federal law bars the removal of classified...
Right, what happened when Snowden took classified... Yeah, an entire investigation and all this stuff went down. Yeah, so, like... And make no mistake, this is not a Snowden incident, okay?
Classified documents.
These aren't even remotely related.
The right locations.
Comparable, I should say.
Though it is possible that Trump could try to argue that, as president, he was the ultimate declassification authority. He could just say I declassified it. Couldn't he do that?
Though it is possible.
There are multiple statutes governing classified information, including a law punishable by up to 5 years in prison that makes it a crime to remove such records and retain them on an unauthorized location. Kind of like Hillary with her server.
I was going to say, this sounds familiar.
Sounds like Hillary Clinton doing this official information on her own private server. Mm-hmm. That's what this sounds like.
Did he have the files in his bathroom?
Here we go. It's the emails. Just in terms of in the federal government reacting to classified material being taken, yeah, because it's a huge no-no. Yeah.
And he had his assistants pouring acid on them.
Another statute makes it a crime to
That's not what happened. Okay.
Handle classified records either intentionally or in a grossly negligent manner, which is what Hillary Clinton did, which is why she should have been prosecuted but wasn't.
What? Didn't they investigate her for this? Please don't force me to defend Hillary Clinton. Didn't they investigate her? Didn't they do the exact same thing? Didn't they investigate her? Wait a minute, I could have sworn this happened. They did investigate her. What? July of 2016. They did. Oh my god, this guy. This guy is an absolute clown. No, I don't want to get FBI email alerts. Creepers. Good morning, I'm here to, this is a, press briefing. I'm here to give you an update on the FBI's investigation of Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email system during her time as Secretary of State. Yeah, so they did investigate this thing. Not only that, the 30,000 emails didn't disappear. Okay? They weren't acid washed. They're right here. From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department, like they investigated this shit. I should add here that we found no evidence that any of the additional work-related emails were intentionally deleted in an effort to conceal them. Our assessment is like many email users, Secretary Clinton periodically deleted emails or emails were purged from the system when devices were changed. Because she was not using a government account or even a commercial account like Gmail, there was no archiving at all of her emails, so it's not surprising that we discovered emails were not on Secretary Clinton's system in 2014 when she produced the 30,000 emails to the State Department. Anyways, the point is they investigated this.
A separate investigation related to efforts by Trump and his allies to undo the results of the 2020 presidential election.
I just YouTube searched. Send that to me. Well, yeah, just send that to me via whispers.
And the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol has also been intensifying in why. This is all about not letting Trump run again.
Literally, that's literally not what that says. That's literally not what that says.
Thompson is here. And what are we talking about today? Well, guess what? Ex-British ambassador, who is now a WikiLeaks operative, claims Russia did not provide Clinton emails. They were handed over to him at a D.C. park by an intermediary for disgusted Democratic whistleblowers. This is from the Daily Mail today. So this is a guy, ex-British ambassador. Now, the UK ambassador to Russia already told us that what the CIA is saying that about Russia and the hack is bullshit. There's a UK ambassador to Russia, the former UK ambassador, already is telling us that stuff is bullshit. Don't believe the CIA. So Craig Murray, former British ambassador to Uzbekistan, an associate of Julian Assange, told the DailyMail.com he flew to Washington, D.C. for emails. He claims he had a...
Nice, thank you. Your screen is frozen? No, I was listening to it on the other screen, sorry.
I don't care if it's DeSantis. He's beholden to the same people. It's Trump that is the problem. DeSantis is beholden to the same establishment, and he doesn't make everybody... He doesn't say grab him by the pussy.
He's probably the guy scheduled to come in and keep it going after everybody gets sick of woke. And
That's
they go,
right.
here, we prepared a great, he's not woke and he's not going to groom your kids. And then he'll do all the stuff, all the same corporate Florida crap that they all do.
You know, I see people like Biden administration supporters on Twitter already saying like, well, you know, this had to get signed off by a judge. It had to get, this is a big, if you haven't figured out how politically motivated our judicial system is motivated, haven't figured out how, you know, this had to get signed off by a judge. It had to get, this is a big, if you haven't figured out how politically motivated our judicial system is already between Julian Assange, between the Hunter Biden laptop scandal, between Russiagate, January 6th, all of this stuff, you are completely missing the point in living under a rock, because this is exactly what the judicial system does. It's all about kickbacks, payouts. You know, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. And you're right, Jimmy. This is about them making sure that Trump can't run again in 2024.
I just don't want them to be disappointed again. I know they've gotten their hopes up so many times, and I just really hope that the thing that a judge said it is a thing, and the top secret information is really...
Wait,
so this is what's known.
What's politically motivated? What's politically motivated? The justice system? Well, yeah, it's political. Yeah. Those judges, the federal judges, get appointed by political parties. Yeah, but they never mentioned the Supreme Court. No, that would be too convenient.
These are political prosecutions. January 6th is also a show trial.
Nope.
This is all, again, this is not about finding justice or getting liberty, or this is all about politics. This is all about the establishment, Republican and Democrat, coming together to get rid of Trump, the outsider. That's what this is.
This is wild. This is indistinguishable from like Alex Jones. This is indistinguishable from like right-wing propaganda. Yeah, he's doing a Mott and Bailey saying an obvious fact that the justice system is politically motivated, including judges, but then goes on a wild conspiracy. Yeah, like this is indistinguishable from like right-wing propaganda. This could be like a Trump ad.
Wrong as a legal expert. Judge Judy is more legally binding than the January 6th hearings on any level, correct? Yeah.
Correct. Hey, we're doing live stand-up comedy coming to your town, Indianapolis, Louisville, Cincinnati, Tulsa, Oklahoma City.
No, thank you. Jimmy Dore's the last true leftist, self-proclaimed. How dare you? Christina, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Thank you. Welcome. But how can anyone call a New York real estate billionaire an outsider? Yeah, it's just gaslighting. Exactly. Civil war incoming. No, I don't think so. It's Jimmy Dore doing what Jimmy Dore needs to do. To generate clicks. Okay? That's at the end of the day what it is. Man of the people, huge real estate mogul. True. All right. Anyways. Yeah, he's going full Alex Jones. Yep. Deep state Dems. Yep. The whole thing. All social media and podcasts are about clicks. It's always about generating income. Yeah. Mostly. Anyways, TLDR is that it looks like it's one step closer. That it is likely that he will have to turn over his tax returns finally. Tim Pool is doing the same thing, even as his own supplement line and news website, just like Alex Jones. That's true. He's just as but he's at least like more flip-floppy, because like the thing that Tim Pool does with great skill is that he starts off by saying that he's not like a conspiracy theorist, then says, well, it's possible, then says, I don't believe in it, and then just continues to, plausible, yes, that's the word I'm looking for, plausible deniability, is exactly it, plausible deniability, by saying, I'm X, but you know what, maybe I'm not, but maybe I am, but, I don't know. So, you can never pin him down. Tim Pool making the big money, leaving everyone in the dust, quite literally, because he's actually super, super horrible for our society. Yeah, Pool's primary skills working the YouTube algorithm. Yep. To the detriment of society. Giuliani must go to Atlanta for election probe. A judge said on Tuesday that Rudy Giuliani must appear in Atlanta in person to testify before a special grand jury that is investigating whether former President Trump and others tried to illegally influence the election in Georgia, and set his appearance for next week. Uh-oh. My biggest hope is in the Georgia investigation. They do not fuck around. Well, I hope so, my friend. The former New York mayor and Trump attorney had been originally ordered to appear on Tuesday, but Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney, who's overseeing the special grand jury, excused him after lawyers filed a motion to seek to delay his appearance. Giuliani's lawyer have argued that a recent medical procedure to place 2 heart stents had left him unable to travel by plane. Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis and her team have rejected Giuliani's suggestions that he appear virtually, for example, or Zoom, or do an interview with prosecutors rather than appearing before the special grand jury. McBurney set Giuliani's appearance for August 17th. The judge said it would give Giuliani, his legal team, and doctors a chance to raise any concerns that would also allow him more time to figure out how to travel from New York to Atlanta by some method other than plane. If a doctor says his health won't allow it, the date will be changed. But he told Giuliani attorney Bill Thomas that if they plan to ask to bump the date, they should do it sooner rather than later. We'll see, my hopes are right there, but not on the federal level. Yeah, I agree. Thomas raised concerns during the hearing that Willis's team has not responded when asked if Giuliani is a target of the investigation, meaning that he could face criminal charges. McBurney said that was a fair question and that he would implore prosecutors to address that with Giuliani's lawyers before he gets to Atlanta. Well, we'll see. We will see. This all has to go. This all has to do with the very perfect phone call. The very perfect phone call asking the Secretary of State to find, votes to make him win or something like that. Evidence shows that Giuliani's appearance and testimony at the hearing was part of a multi-state coordinated plan by the Trump campaign to influence the results of the November 20 election in Georgia and elsewhere. Yeah. So all of this had to do with this call. She had confirmed from the start that this was interested in a phone call between Trump and Brad Raffensperger during that 2021 conversation. Trump suggested that Raffensperger could find the votes needed to overturn his narrow loss in the state. Yeah, so that's what it was. Those could be his Nixon tapes. Yep. One could hope. All right, folks. It is getting to that time. I do need to get going. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for hanging out here. Iden Simpson with the raid. I appreciate that. Marvy with the follow. Alio with the biddies. Thank you. Christina. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. By the way, I do see that you are also a streamer. So that's pretty cool. I appreciate that. Those could be the Nixon tapes. We need to wait. Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep posting any updates. But slowly but surely, things don't look good on several ends. We have the New York investigation into his financial stuff. We have this one. It doesn't look good. It does not look good. Alright, folks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. It does help us out, and you get 5 free emotes. Don't forget to go to the YouTube channel. I see a few of you folks have done so. And hit the subscribe button. If you want to keep up with the channel, head on over and join the Discord. Make sure you spread the word far and wide that this is a chill's place to be for news and politics Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us on Sundays for Catterday at around noon Eastern Time. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. See ya! Appreciate you hanging out, I Like Pie. Special thanks to Heat, the moderator. Alright, folks. Hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.